Hello everyone, myself Pavan Kumar. I am going to explain the complete introduction and history of C language in this session, followed by what is the language used to communicate before C and what is the procedure. Okay, so I'm going to cover the complete history of C, followed by the introduction of C and which language used to be there before C language to communicate between the programmer and the machine. All right, that also I'm going to cover, and the year in which it got introduced, by whom it got introduced, all this information I'm going to give you through the history, followed by how to write an algorithm and what is a pseudocode. All these information I'm going to give. For example, algorithm and how to write a pseudocode, and or else what is the definition of a pseudocode. All these information I'm going to give in this particular session. The idea is to make the student community understand the basics of C language and what are all the parameters that we use, what are all the do's don'ts that we need to do while writing a C program, because C is a basic language or basic coding language, you can say, and this language is based for all other languages, like for example Python, which is the most running what you call software these days, followed by it is based for C++, and also to develop Java or any other software, the background is C. Okay, and in case of development of the drivers and all these things, because C language will help as the communication between the programmer and the computer. Okay, because computer don't understand English language. Okay, it only understand binary language. Okay, binary means two. What are those two? Zeros and ones. It will understand whatever the code given, whatever the information given in the form of binary language only. Okay, means it is going to take the information in the form of zeros and ones, and this will be converted with the help of a compiler. Okay, compiler uh, acts in between the programmer or the program and the computer. Okay, which will help the computer to understand so that it can give you or give us the output. In that way it will help you out. All right, and next slide I'm going to give you information about the complete introduction. All right, I'm going to take the next slide now, where I'm going to discuss the complete importance. What is the importance of C language? Why we need to learn C language? All this information I'm going to give. Here you could see C was developed by Dennis Ritchie in 1972. Okay, in the year 1972, this was introduced by Ritchie in the year 1972 to communicate between the programmer or the person who developed the code and the computer. Okay, now this C language which we are discussing now is, we can say that this is the mother of all languages. This is a general saying what you'll hear. Okay, mother of all language, nothing but the C acts as the base for other languages, the way in the before slide I have explained you, that is like Python or C++ or Java. Okay, likewise you have other things. Once you understand the language C better, okay, the coding system or the parameters that we use, okay, the procedure or the structure or the syntax, if you know better, then others languages become so easy. Okay, we can understand by ourselves. Okay, there is no need for others to make us understand the language. That is how it has developed. Okay, so what is the language that is there before C, that is also we'll see. It helps in writing very effective programming or efficient programming. Okay, it is used in designing both system software, let me change the color, system software and also application software. Okay, this C language is used to develop both the things. One is system, one more is as you could see application softwares also. Application software is nothing but for example, let me say in case of application softwares, let me name it as players, like VLC players, in general what we use. Okay, other than that, which we call it as standalone softwares, these are called standalone softwares. Okay, other than this, there are web-based softwares also there, web-based softwares, which are called, which we generally use, YouTube, okay, or else Facebook, in generally we use. They're all application softwares. Okay, uh, under this also C language is very much helpful, C coding system is very much helpful. Other than this, system softwares, one more is system softwares. Coming to system softwares, here is, you can say, drivers. Okay, drivers, device drivers what you call, and graphical user interfaces, GUI what you say, or the operating systems. All right, these are all system softwares which are inbuilt, existing in the system itself. Okay, other than this, these are all application softwares what we use when and where required. Next point, C language is used to develop system programming, photos and video editing softwares and operating system. The background of video editing softwares, again, C programming is very much helpful, without which it is no way we can't develop video editing softwares also. Okay, behind every video editing software now and the operating systems, C plays a key role. Okay, learning C is a good way to learn structured program concepts. Program concepts, structured in sense here, C language generally we call it as a structured language. Why it is a structured language means, here let us see why it is a structured language means, it improve the quality, quality of programming, and it also give you a clarity of programming. Okay, it will reduce the develop time, it will reduces the code develop time. Okay, that is the reason we call it as a structured language. One more point is, it is a step-by-step procedure. Okay, the compiler will read step-by-step way. For example, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4 are there. If this is the procedure, you have to write it in this way only. Okay, you can't take the step number 4 above and step number 3 below. It can't read it. It will read in a step by step procedure. That is one more. Students or anyone can learn other advanced programming languages easily with the help of C. The way I said, Python, which is a trending software, likewise you have many other softwares in the market. If you understand C better, then it becomes easy for us to understand other languages by ourselves. Okay, without the involvement of other people, we can easily learn by ourselves because of having the basic knowledge of C. Okay, I'll go with the next slide now. Let me take the next slide, wherein I'm going to give you the importance of C language. Few more points I would like to cover here. As you could see here, writing and analyzing C program improves logical reasoning. Okay, if you learn the C language properly, then logical thinking, logical ability of a person, or a programmer will improve. Okay, when compared to other programming languages, execution and compilation are very much faster. If you see now, the trending language, as I said just now, Python or C++, the language which came after C, the compilation time is very much high when you compare with C language. Here, in this case, compilation time is very much higher, whereas in case of C, compilation time is very fast. Okay, These are the examples, which few examples I have given. It is all available on variety of systems ranging from embedded microcontroller to supercomputer. This particular C is available. This particular, let me change the color so that you could see properly. C is available on a variety of systems ranging from embedded microcontroller these days to a computers also. Okay, that is how it ranges. All right, now let me give you some more information here. As I said just now, C got introduced in 1972 by Dennis Ritchie. As I said with my second slide, what is the source of communication before C? It was B. Okay, it is not like the alphabetical order. Before C, it has to be B. It is not the alphabetical order, but it is B. It used to be called as B because it is a basic combined programming language. What is that? Basic combined programming language. That is the reason they used to call it as a B language. That was introduced in 1970. That was introduced in 1970 by Thomas. Okay, by Ken Thomas. That was introduced by Ken Thomas in 1970. This was introduced, or this was developed to develop Linux actually. Okay, C was also there. There is a meaning for C was also to develop C also. Okay, that was also developed for uh, uh, operating systems, to develop an operating system. The next advancements or next development after B is C language. Okay, this C language came into market with the refined, uh, with lot more refinement, lot more improvement. Okay, lot more improvement, it came into market. Improvement in sense where you can't implement the simple things in B language, that can also be implemented here in C language. Okay, lot of additional features you could see in this particular C language. Okay, and is there anything else before 1970 to communicate with a computer? Might be a question in anyone's mind. Yes, there exists one more language called algorithm. Algorithm used to be written. Okay, algorithm is a step-by-step procedure through which you can communicate. Okay, with the help of an English language. Okay, with the help of an English language, this particular algorithm is a step-by-step procedure. Step by step. Okay, step-by-step procedure uh, with which you can communicate with the system. That is what used to happen. Right now, this particular algorithm got introduced in 1960. This was the first one, 1960. Then B language came into existence in 1970. Then came in 1972 C language with lot more improvements, lot more flexibility. Any type of logic can be applied through this particular C coding language. All right, this what happened. This is called the step-by-step procedure algorithm, and these are the developments or improvements or revolutions what you could see. Okay, and coming to this particular algorithm step-by-step procedure, this particular step-by-step procedure will also vary from person to person. Okay, it all depends on the perception of the person. Okay, the way of thinking. For example, I want to travel from one place to another place. Okay, I want to travel from one place to another place where I have different ways to travel. This is my destination. There are many ways to travel. Okay, some are long distance, some are very short distances, but anyways I can reach the destiny. My ultimate aim is to get the output. That is more important. So if I go by any of the ways, I can reach the destiny, or else I get the output. It let me, I mean, I would like to communicate with you, like these are many ways, these are different ways or different thinking of a person, different perceptions of a person. Ultimately, output is more important, but whatever the perception may be, whatever the route may be, the output is same. That is what I meant. Okay, next, in the next slide you get a clarity upon what I have discussed just now. This is the next slide, how we need to write a program. What is the best way or a basic way to write a program? Here are the 6 steps I have given. Read and properly understand the given question or problem. That is more important. Then you can put it in the way you like. Okay, the communication style of communication may be different. And determine the solution. Here you could see, determine the solution and come up with an idea to solve the problem. So problem can be solved in any ways. There might be 2 methods, 3 methods, but the way you understand the problem, the way you are going to solve it, that is more important. Write down the steps. Example, flowcharts and algorithms. Okay, once the problem is given to you, you have to understand the problem in the form of a flowchart. Okay, for example, what is flowchart, what is algorithm, that I'm going to discuss in the upcoming lectures. In this lecture I'm going to talk about only algorithm. In the next session maybe I'm going to talk about flowcharts. They will understand what exactly flowchart is all about. How, I mean, flowchart will give you proper communication. Okay, the person who don't understand English language also or coding properly also can understand the flowchart easily. Okay, because flowchart is designed with some symbols. Each and every symbol will have a meaning. Okay, with that meaning, definitely the person who don't understand the language will also understand through flowchart. That is the reason flowchart had developed. And algorithms, anyways, I'm going to cover in this session. Okay, now here I have given a clarity. Convert the flowchart or algorithm into code. Okay, that particular algorithm or flowchart can easily be converted into a code. That code can be compiled to get the output. Okay, this code is called, this code whatever we are going to develop is called a high level language. What is a high level language? Nothing but user readable. High level language, nothing but the user readable language. User readable language. All right, which is written in English. Which is written in English. All right, this is called the high level language. With the help of a code, with the help of language called English, we'll try to develop a code that will be used for compilation. That is what the 5th step is all about. Compile the code and look for bugs. Bugs are nothing but, as you all know, errors. Okay, for example, after writing the code you find an error somewhere, that will also be shown in the compiler. Okay, that will be uh, you know that will throw the error, and that has to be debugged. Okay, unless you debug you won't get the output. Okay, once you debug, execute the program and test it. This is what happens. Okay, simple programming in general, what we'll see, whenever somebody asks you to write a program, we'll see to print something on the output. You may try to print your name on the output. Okay, a simple program for your understanding, let me write a simple program. We try to write a program with hash include. Okay, this hash acts as a preprocessor. Hash acts as a that detailing I'll give you. Hash include std, standard input output dot header file. Okay, under this you find, this is nothing but a library. Then I'll say integer main. Okay, whenever I'll say int, there should be an output, I mean written value should be there. Okay, then again a code. Okay, this flower bracket we call it as a code block. This flower bracket we call it as a code block. Within that I would like to print f, whatever you like to print, maybe your name. Okay, whatever you like to print, that can be seen on the compiler and this print statement has to be terminated with a semicolon. Okay, that has to be terminated with a semicolon. Now you can here in between, before you close the flower bracket, you have to write the return value also. This is the procedure. Okay, this is also important. Return value is also very much important. Return 0. All right, whenever the data type you are using, let me give you clarity upon this hash. We call it as a pre-processor. All right, that is the reason I said in the beginning slides, each and every parameter, each and every word term is very much important to understand. Okay, and this is called the library. This is called the input output library. This is called the library, and this is the std, nothing but the standard. Anyways, I'm going to, when I'm going to write the code in some other upcoming lectures, I'm going to explain in detail about all these things. All right, and this is int, nothing but the integer, which is called a data type, which will vary from minus infinity to plus infinity, minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, it will vary from minus to plus infinity, the range I'm talking about. And main is nothing but the keywords are very much important. Try to understand, whatever the keywords predefined, that should not be used as a variable. Okay, you can't use that particular thing as a variable. If you try to use this main as a variable somewhere in your program, that will throw again an error. Okay, this bracket represents the input. Okay, this particular bracket represents the input, and as I said, in between, from this particular flower bracket to the closing flower bracket, we call it as a code block. This is called the code block. Means whatever the whatever you like to print it on the compiler, that has to be written in between these two flower brackets. If there is one opening flower bracket, means there should be one closing flower bracket. If there are two openings, there should be two closing flower bracket. That you'll understand once I explain you the programming part or the coding part. All right, this is a simple program. This program we'll try to show it in the form of a syntax. If you understand the syntax properly, then it becomes easy to write a program. Okay, if you still face a problem to write a program, then flowcharts will help you. Okay, so you'll try to put your problem in the form of flowchart. Then just by understanding the flowchart, you can write a code. This is one more way of communication. Here I have given a simple note here. Do not hurry before writing the code for a problem. First, think about the solution and steps to follow. Okay, steps to follow in sense, better you go with the flowchart and then design the code. Once you develop the flowchart, try to develop your code. Then the code, definitely you are going to write it in the perfect manner. Okay, there won't be much errors, I would say. All right, in the next slide, let me take the next slide. I hope you are all are clear with this particular slide. Let me go with the next one. In this slide, I'm going to discuss about, as I said, before C language there used to be a communication procedure or the process, which we call it as algorithm and pseudocode. Okay, what is an algorithm? Let us see. It is a step-by-step process for completing a specified task. Now, C language will help you with the help of a code to complete your task. Now, these days, okay. Now, other than C language, you have some other advanced coding systems, which may be a C++ or maybe a Python, some other languages. But algorithm, as I said, in 1960s, which will communicate with this computer, in a step-by-step process. Okay, it can be written in a natural language, nothing but an English language. Okay, pseudocode, it is similarly a step-by-step procedure for carrying out a certain task, but the steps are described in greater detail. Here in case of algorithm, here itself you'll understand, algorithm will have less detailing, whereas pseudocode will have more detailing, so that they may be readily converted into a programming language. If the pseudocode is properly written, then it can easily be converted to code. Okay, and again one more note I have given here, both algorithm pseudocode are used in a similar context. Okay, the usage of both will be done in a similar context. All right, and this particular pseudocode or how to write a pseudocode or algorithm, let us see that part now. Let me go with the next slide. A simple slide will give you a picture clarity of what exactly we are trying to know through this particular rules. All right, here you could see rules for writing an algorithm. As I said in the beginning, the rules for a C is a syntax. How to write a syntax. If you understand the syntax properly, then obviously much of the program code can be written. Whereas in case of algorithm, this particular algorithm can be written in this format. Algorithm, what algorithm you are going to write, the name should be given. Name, again, it all depends on the perception of a person, the way you think, the way, I mean, what type of program or what type of algorithm you want to write. Based upon that, you have to give the name. Okay, proper name has to be given, and begin the statement. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. There might be 10 steps, there might be 8 steps to complete a same output. Okay, these are different steps need to be followed. Okay, how these steps need to be followed, that I'll just try to give you clarity upon. For example, I would like to write a program to add 3 numbers. Okay, now in case of C, the syntax is different, whereas in case of algorithm, how to write it, it should be like a simple language, English language. Step 1, what I'll try to do, I just start it. Whatever algorithm you would like to write, initially it has to be started simple. Okay, start. Next step, in the next step, what I'll try to do, I would like to declare the variables. Okay, I would like to declare what are variables, that we'll see when we actually write the code. But in this case, what I'll try to do, I'll try to take it as x, y, z. Okay, because the question is I would like to add 3 numbers. Okay, let us take x, y, z are 3 different parameters or variables, I would say, and I would like to add. So let me take it as add or sum. Okay, anything is fine. A, D, D, add. Okay, these are the 4 different variables x, y, z and add I have taken. And in the step 3, what we will try to do after declaration, you have to read those variables. Okay, read those variables. Okay, what are the variables? I just need to read x, y and z. All the 3 I need to read. Maybe x is equal to some 2, y is equal to some 4, z is equal to some 2 again. Okay, means x, y, z are the variables, and this 2, 4, 2 are the numbers allotted for those x, y and z. And in step 4, what we'll try to do, and under step 4 we'll try to add. What is that? Add x plus y plus z. Now under x you have 2, under y you have 4, under z you have given it as 2. So 2 plus 4 plus 2, answer will be 8. Where that answer has to be displayed? Step 5, which is equal to display what? Add. What is add now? This sum, this particular sum. And finally, step 6, stop the algorithm. This is how it goes. It is like a simple English language, simple communication, wherein I have taken 3 different variables that could be ABC, PQR, XYZ, and I would like to do activity here which is called add, and for all the 3 cases XYZ, I need to give some number. Those numbers has to be summed, and unless this add can be given, let me give you clarity here. I have given it as add here. When you have given add or sum, that has to be considered here also. Okay, if you have not given any variable here, then this will not work out. Okay, variable has to be given. Similarly, XYZ has to be declared. If it is XYZ here and ABC here, this will not work out. Okay, the same thing has to be reciprocated here. So this is a simple language indication. Similarly, whatever the variable you have indicated, that has to be displayed. Okay, it should not be sum. If you write a sum again, maybe the meaning is same, but communication is wrong. Whatever variable you have declared here, the same thing has to be communicated till the end of the algorithm. This is how it goes. Okay, I'll show you the same thing in the next slide in a different way with a simple question form. Just for your understanding purpose, in the question form I'll show you. This is my next slide, simple slide for your understanding purpose. Okay, for example, daily routine for attending your college, daily routine for attending your, what you try to do. Okay, begin, as I said, start, you can say begin. Step 1 is wake up at 5 a.m. or some people may wake up at 6 or 7. As I said in the beginning, it all depends on person to person, the way they write the algorithm. Brushing teeth, or cleaning themselves, dressing up. Some may avoid this point. Okay, directly they go to this particular point. Having breakfast. Ultimate aim is what? Attending the college. Okay, that has to be fulfilled properly. They may go by bus or they may go by bike. Okay, they may go by car. It is all different way or different modes of travel. That is not an issue. The issue is this one. Okay, this is your question. Question is this way. So these are the steps. Somebody written an algorithm with 10 different steps. Okay, some may write with 9 different steps, some may go with 20 different steps, some may go with 50 different steps. Okay, if you want to have an algorithm with more clarity, the step by step procedure has to be more clear, then you go with 50 steps, but ultimately your result should be same. Okay, end algorithm or stop, I said, anything is fine. Okay, next, I'll go with the next one. Have a look. A simple note I have given here. There is no limit, as I said, to the number of steps. One may go with 10 steps, one may go with 50. It all depends on the way they want to communicate. However, they should be finite in number. There is no one unique way to write an algorithm. Okay, for example, in C, as I said, there is a syntax. We have to follow that syntax. Okay, unless you follow syntax, you can't get the output. In the similar way, if you consider an algorithm, there won't be a proper syntax for an algorithm. Okay, somebody may communicate with 10 different steps, some may communicate with 50 different steps, and the way, the kind of language they use, the steps they follow might be different. Okay, try to understand the difference between the code and the algorithm. I'll go with the next one now, which is my 8th slide. 8th, I think I'm done with my 8th, and there is a 9th one. All right, here is one more example of an algorithm. Printing the largest. Let me change the color for your better understanding. Here the question is printing the largest of the given number. For example, some numbers, two numbers are given, 10 and 20, 50 and 60, or 100 or whatever. So which is the largest of these two? That might be your question. In that case, algorithm, it has begun now. Step 1 is read the two numbers, say A and B. That could be X and Y also, P and Q also. Compare A with B. When I compare A, let us say A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20. When I compare A with B, the first and third step is how I compare, is A greater than B in the question form. If yes, if true, print A is the largest number. Yes, in this case it is true. Then here ends the matter. A is largest number. Is A less than B? Okay, for example, A is equal to 20, B is equal to 10. If that is the case, I'm just reversing these two numbers. Print B is the largest number. Okay, in the same way, is A equal to B? Print A comma B are equal. If both are same, 20 20, then this will execute. Okay, there are, what are the possibilities, or what is the probability that we can print those two numbers? Means there are three possible ways, or three, there is a probability of three. Probability of what is that? Greater than. Okay, if A is greater than B, then print A is the largest. If A is less than B, print B as the largest. A equal to B, then print A comma B are equal. This is how the communication is. Try to understand. Just for your understanding purpose, I have given few examples here. Better you go through some more. Okay, I have given one more here. Try to understand. Example of algorithm is done. Example of a pseudocode for the same case. Same case in sense, largest of two. Prompt the user to enter two numbers. Here now we are declaring there what are the numbers and all. Here prompting, we are prompting the user. For example, whoever is writing the program, we are prompting him to enter two numbers. Those two numbers are their wish. It might be 10, 100, or some other numbers. Okay, so read the two numbers into A and B. Now whatever the numbers we are entering, let us consider those two as A and B. Okay, compare A and B. We are trying to compare whether those two are greater than or less than or equivalent to that. We are going to compare. If A is greater than B, again the same case, but in case of pseudocode, we have to represent in this way. Okay, else if A less than B, print B is the largest. Again, else print A comma B are. Now here the information is given, or the communication is given in a more clear way than an algorithm. Same question is same, largest of two, but the communication is somewhat better than an algorithm. That is what I would like to show. I would like to give a small comparison between an algorithm and a pseudocode. That is what I mean. Alright, let me go with the next slide. This is my next one. Have a look at it. Now write algorithm for the following tasks. I have given two tasks for your understanding. Okay, whatever I have explained you based on that information. These are check whether the given number is an odd number or an even number. For this, you please try to write a simple algorithm. Okay, simple algorithm. Then the second one, print the largest of the three given. Now I have discussed about two given numbers. Now I'm asking you to write an algorithm for three given numbers. Okay, now if you're done with your work properly, if you understand this particular logic properly, or if you have any doubts, you can comment in the box given below so that I can explain you. Okay, anyways, I'm going to give you a briefing of all these questions also. Let's just go with the next slide, which is my 12th one. Have a look. Clearly I have given here. So algorithm for testing whether a given number even or odd, whatever the question I have given there, for that I have given a solution also. I'm beginning it, or else you can say start. Read the number x first, divide by 2. Now the meaning is, for example, any number is divisible by 2 and the remainder is 0 is an even number. If not, it is an odd number, as we all know from the basics of our mathematics. Divide by 2. If the remainder is 0, x is even, so print x is even. So this is going to be printed. End the program. If the remainder is non-zero, then we need to execute this one now. If this case is true, then this need to be executed. If this case is false, then this need to be executed. Means if it is not zero, remainder x is odd number. So print x is odd numbers. In the same way, you can write the pseudocode also. Okay, in the same way you can write a pseudocode for the same problem. Okay, now the language is your wish. It is not compulsory that you need to communicate the way I have communicated. You can say begin. For begin you can say start. Similarly, you can change here and there. You can communicate the way you want, but ultimately the communication should be in a proper way. Whether you are considering x and y, or else you are considering a, you are considering b, that variable is more important. You have to follow the variable till the end of the program, and here I'm stopping the program. You can say stop, or you can say end the program. This is how algorithm is written for even and odd, to find out whether given number is even or odd. Similarly, I'm going to the next slide. Have a look at this now. This is the next solution. Algorithm to print the of largest of three given numbers. Initially we have written an algorithm for two numbers. Now it is three. Largest of two we have seen already. Now I hope you can easily write it for 3. Now whatever the discussion from the beginning we had, all these are interview questions. Okay, for example, if you are facing any of the interviews, maybe online or offline, it is not compulsory that they only question on C language. Maybe you went as a C program, a developer, or but still they may ask you about an algorithm or a pseudocode. They may give you a task likewise like this. Okay, can you write a algorithm, or else same way can you communicate with a pseudocode? All this they may ask you. Finally, they may ask you to write a code also. What is the syntax to write a code to find largest of three numbers? Okay, so you have to be good at algorithm, you have to be good at pseudocode, you have to be good at C. Okay, if you want to face any of the interviews, campus or off campus or on campus. All right, that is more important. Try to understand. And reading ABC, that could be XYZ also. Compare AB. If A is greater than B, compare A with C. There are, as I said, A, B, C are three different variables. If A is greater than B, If A is greater than, in this case, if it is true, if this is true, then compare this with C. All right, that is what mentioned here. Whether A is greater than C or not, that we have to see. Then if it is, that is also greater, print A is the largest number and end the algorithm. Okay, if this is false, if this case is false now, if it is not greater than B, then again B has to be compared with C. Have a look. Otherwise, if A is less than C, print C is the largest number. If this is true, and this is false, then you have to print C as the largest. Okay. Similarly, end the algorithm. In step 5, if A is less than B, compare B with C. Okay. If B is greater than C, print B. In this case, if B is greater than C, print B is the largest. Then end the program or end the algorithm. Otherwise, print C is the, if that is false, print C as the largest number. Then stop the program. This is how it goes. Okay, try to understand the logic. Once you understand the logic, then writing an algorithm or a pseudocode or a C code is very much easy. All right, let me go with the next slide, which may be my last slide for you for this session. Okay, now this is all about algorithm, pseudocode. Okay, I have given a small judgment here. Criteria for judging an algorithm: two or more algorithms can be compared based on execution time. Okay, that means number of steps, avoid too many input statements, must be as minimum as possible. Okay, for example, a communication should be with as less number of steps as possible. Okay, then it can call it is called as a very good algorithm. Similarly, memory space required. If you give too many number of steps, as I said, some person may complete their communication with 10 steps, some may complete with 50, some may complete with 100. All are same, output will remain same, but this person has communicated with a very less number of steps. This we call it as an efficient algorithm. All right, so if you go with a more number of steps, then memory becomes a problem. Okay, we have to use less memory with effective work. Okay, all these information about C language or the history of C is only to give you proper communication about a C language. Okay, I just want to help the student community to understand the basics of C language, each and every parameter related to C language, what are the do's and don'ts of C language, followed by what is the uh, beginning source of communication. That is all I would like to communicate actually. B language, as we all know, which is a machine level language. Okay, so here in case of C, the compiler will help you to convert from the this code to machine level language. That is what all these information I would like to give you. If you find any what you call any doubts, if you have, or if you want to ask any question related to algorithm, pseudocode or coding, or anything about the history, you can comment in the box given below so that I can communicate, I can give you answers for that. This is all for this session. Thank you.